Hey beautiful humans, just jumping on here today to give you some updates. As you can see, I'm actually wearing the Healy. I kind of forgot. It's a permanent fixture on my body right now. So you're going to see it a lot. I've told my Instagram peeps, soz not soz, you're going to get all the Healy spam. So I'm wearing the Healy. I'm on the tail end of a joint/bones program, which has come up a lot in the last few days, on the scan that I've done of my system to tell my system or my bioenergetic field system, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, energetic, all the things, to come back into homeostasis or balance what it most needs. And so I'm running a program which comes from the Healy device into my wrists. But I mainly wanted to jump on here and give you guys an update. So this is Tuesday, I've had the Healy myself since Saturday. So Saturday night to Tuesday, which is like 3 days and an evening, I've been all over this thing, of course, because it's amazing and it's a new gadget. And people have been like saying, oh, I can't wait to hear how it's supporting you or what's going on or what it does, etc. So if you're jumping on, give me some love, let me know you're here. If you've got some questions, let me know too. I'd love to answer them. I'm just going to give you a kind of first impressions, first use kind of share or story, and also a bit of a personal story, a bit of a like vulnerable story. Hey Ayla, my love, which is actually pretty edgy for me to sit on social media and share, particularly if the person involved in this sees it. It will be only my sharing, but anyway, we'll get to that in a sec. So Saturday night I got the Healy, I set it up, and I was on a video call to someone very special to me for 5 frickin' hours. So naturally, at the end of the call, my eyes were really sore. Hey Kat, how are you, my love? My eyes were really sore from being on screen. You guys probably know, especially in ISO, we're on Zoom a lot more, we're online a lot more, we're on our devices a lot more because we're physically isolated from our friends and our loved ones. So I had these really sore eyes after I finished this really long video call. And I just set my Healy up and my friend was like, why don't you run the eye program? And I was like, of course I will. So I turned my screen off, and there's the contraindicating factor of the fact that I got off the screen. But my eyes were really sore. They were itchy. I was rubbing them. They were like gritty and it was horrible. And I chose to, apart from choosing the fact that my eyes were sore, I wanted for my first scan on my own Healy, I've used my friend's Healys before, to see like if I have a pain or a discomfort, to see the results of that. I didn't want to just like run a program for inflammation and I don't feel any difference, you know? So anyway, long story short, for the eye program, hey Dennis, how are you? Long time, oh my goodness. I ran the eye program and literally within 15 minutes, my eyes were clear, the pain was gone. Like, I was so astounded. I kept running the program for maybe half an hour, even though I think it's an hour program. But I wanted to also run a sleep program that night, and I've run a sleep program the last 2 nights, yeah. And my eyes changed. Like, what the hell? Like, this is so cool. So that was number 1. But a few days before that, I was away with a beautiful man that I'm getting to know. And let me just look at my list, because eyes, energy. Oh yeah, I was away with this beautiful man. We were drinking coffee in the morning, and I don't know about you guys, but I get this incredible, and it's to do with my nervous system, it's to do with my adrenals, etc. I get this incredible coffee crash at about 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon, where I get brain fog. My brain starts to shut down. I can't really string a sentence together. I feel really funny, and I actually get quite irritable, and I don't really want to hold conversations. It's quite noticeable, and it makes me want to just like go to bed or shut off. And if I have anything to do, like if clients want sessions in the afternoon or friends want to create work projects in the afternoon, evening, I just get really like, oh, I don't want to do it. And so the early mornings are my better time. We're walking back from a bushwalk, and he was like, why don't we run an energy program? I was like, okay, cool, I want to try this thing more and more. And so we ran this energy program, and anyway, like an hour later, I got back to the house and I was cooking dinner, and holy shit. So the energy program, my experience of it is not like you've had coffee and you get that like high. Not everybody gets a high from coffee, but like a lot of sensitive people do. it's not like that giddiness that you get when you're really excited, or butterflies in your tummy or anything like that. It's just clear, consistent, like grounded energy that your mind is really alert, but not, again, not giddy and not hyperactive alert. Just really like clear thinking, clear speech and articulation, able to kind of take in your surroundings and do life with this real balanced energy. So that's what happened from running an energy program. I was previously in this massive coffee slump where I was feeling irritable and like, don't even talk to me, I don't like it, to having this incredibly like balanced and grounded energy, which was insane. So those were kind of the eyes and the energy were like two really noticeable physical experiences that I had. Then on to the vulnerable story. So yeah, this is a bit shamey, and also I don't care because it's linked to a really big part of my journey. So to give a little bit of a backstory, I have had a really epic journey with acne for many, many years. Before I knew about gut health and digestive issues and how we can change that and change our skin, etc., I tried all sorts of things to sort out acne until I went down the natural pathway and healed my gut, etc. As part of the journey, I say hey if you're jumping on. Love to know who it is and give me some love. As part of my natural health healing journey, I actually had a detox that went completely wrong. And I found out that my eliminatory pathways, which are things like our liver, our kidneys, our gallbladder, etc., weren't optimal to release toxins, and I got, as a result, severe cystic acne. And the funny thing was that I thought I had bad acne before, and it was nothing compared to this incredible experience. And it was during this experience whereby like 5, 6, 7 cystic acne pustules were popping out on my cheeks and my chin every single day, and then they would pop and I'd have like craters and hey Alani, beautiful, craters and like wounds all over my face. And I remember that summer super clearly because it was a summer that I only went to the beach with my sister, and I love the beach and I love being barefaced and not having makeup on, even though I still wear makeup sometimes, and today I'm not wearing makeup. But I was really, really down and really emotionally impacted. I was really down and I was really emotionally impacted. And it was a really challenging part of my life. And 2 people approached me when I was at my worst in terms of feeling really, really shit physically because of my acne and my skin. The first one was my best friend, who was a male, and was like, what's going on with you, Danny? What's wrong with you? And it was from love, but I took it as in like, I'm broken, I'm ugly, if there's a man approaching me, even if he cares about me, like, I don't want a man to notice and to speak up about my skin, like, which is linked to my beauty, which is linked to my self-worth. And then the second person that approached me with love, but I didn't see it that way at the time, was my father. And he saw that I was down, and he saw that I was depressed, and he saw that my skin was really, really, really bad, and I was suffering. And he said, we need to take you to a doctor, we need to get it sorted, we need to get it looked at. And hey Hector, how are you, beautiful man? And the next words that came out of my father's mouth, my dear father, and I now know it was out of love, but was, you'll never get a man with a face like that. And it was hard. It was really, really hard. And that is a trauma that I have spent many years working through, because I linked my beauty to getting a man, and my eligibility as a female to being beautiful and physically beautiful and perfect. And so for so long, like, I would hide myself, my true self, particularly my skin or my face, because of acne, from men. And it would really be a huge barrier. Like when I would stay with men, taking my makeup off in the evening and going to sleep and waking up next to them barefaced, etc., was a really, really big and quite vulnerable deal. An experience. I could just feel like the tension in my body telling the story. And so what I've been doing the last sort of year, my heart's beating as well. Holy shit, I can feel it. It's so intense. And so what I have done, so many techniques, so many tricks, of course, the last wee while, but what I've done since I've been back in New Zealand, because it's not illegal over here, and I'm also into health, so I know about vitamin D for autoimmune diseases and vitamin D for health in general, etc., as I've been having sunbeds regularly. Not heaps of them, but so I've been using red light therapy as well as sunbeds or sun exposure. So in the summer I get sun and I go outside a lot, and I would rather have tanned skin to try help with my skin, etc., as well as do all the other things than not. So this links back to the story of me spending time last week with the Healy, his Healy, and a beautiful man in my life. And naturally, okay, so there's another piece of the story. So in ISO, and I've shared this in a previous video with you guys on this page about what I was excited about getting the Healy right. I was excited because in ISO, my own anxiety manifested as me picking my skin. So I can share like skin pictures of me during the initial lockdown of New Zealand, where I was alone for 4 weeks, and I got into chronic skin picking. And so I have had intense scarring and intense breakouts that I wouldn't let heal, all up my neck, all up this side, all on the back, and also on my face. And it's been horrendous. Like, it's literally only just healed up. But I knew also that I was going to hang out with this man that I kind of want to look pretty for, right? This is only last week. So I went and had a couple of sunbeds after New Zealand went to level 2. And this is the thing, right? Like, this is me revealing like what women do behind the scenes to try and feel good enough. And even though I know I'm lovable, even though I know I'm beautiful, all of the things, but like, it's shameful to share these like imperfections with people, particularly men, when we're first meeting them, etc. So I was doing that. The sunbed that I had, literally like 2 days before I met this man, I used it for a little bit too long, and because it's kind of coming to winter here as well, my skin was a bit fairer than normal and I got a little bit burnt. So my skin was super dry and it was peeling when I met this man. Hey Vanessa, not that that's part of it, but he has a Healy as well. So we jump on his Healy, he does a scan, the resonance, which is the highest level of the... Oh, my internet connection was dropping out, brings up the top programs that's recommended for our field, for our bodies, etc. And what do you know? Top of the list was skin acne, skin scarring, and the second from the top was skin aging. And here's me internally being like, excuse my French, fuck, oh my god, I just literally got burnt by a sunbed like 2 days before trying to make my skin all nice for this man I'm wanting to impress, and the freaking Healy is like picking up that I need to run the skin aging program, because obviously I'd oxidized my skin by putting it in a freaking sunbed. So that was hilarious. He didn't know what that was about. And then ever since, every single, hey Robin, ever since, every single day, skin acne, like systemic acne, wound healing, like wound local, and which means like a spot of wounds, and scars. And I've got, you can't really see it on here in this light, but I've got I had a scooter accident in Bali in February, and so I've got a scar here and a scar on my wrist. I've also got scarring on my cheeks, because if you're just jumping on, I was just sharing that during ISO I had chronic skin picking from anxiety and the stress of isolation. That's how my own anxiety manifested. So I had scars all over my cheeks and my chin and my neck, and yeah, fun times. And literally every single day since I've got my own Healy, and when I was scanned my friend's Healy, so I'm with this man that I'm trying to impress, or that I want to impress. I don't have to impress, I just am myself, and he loves me as I am, but that I would still like to make a good impression on. And the Healy brought to the top of the list acne, scarring, skin aging, and wound stuff. And so literally every single day since I've got my Healy, I've been running those programs. And lastly, what I want to share with you, of course, so I'm planning to jump on this live and tell you my really vulnerable story. And the Healy doesn't just deal with things that are like to do with scars and wound healing and stuff like that, which is like all to do with my self-esteem. It deals with all sorts of other challenges. And when I say deals, it supports our bodies. It doesn't cure, it doesn't fix, etc. It's not about that. It's an adjunct. So it's a supportive thing, delivering frequencies to different challenges we might have. And I was literally just watching, so as I'm preparing to talk about this live to do with scarring and connective tissue and wound healing and acne and all the shameful things, I watched a video of Dr. Carolyn McMacken, who is a specialist in frequency-specific microcurrent, which is the frequencies that are delivered from the Healy device. And what would you know, the universe had me discover her talking literally about scarring. And the two studies she talked about, and this is super interesting because it's nice to bring like anecdotal stories and actual evidence, were one trialed on, so frequency therapy trialed on people or applied to people who have burns. So for example, one guy who had an oil burn, when he was cooking, the oil splashed onto his hand, his arm and his chest, and he was in the burns unit. So they took the frequencies, the time waver machine, which is the practitioner model of the Healy, like made before the Healy. This is a wearable that we can self-deliver frequencies. But they took the time waver machine to these patients in the burns unit. This particular guy had the goal of being able to hold a coffee cup again, because as you know, when you have intense scarring, all your connective tissue and everything tightens up, and you've got limited range of motion, etc. Hey Adele, my love. Oh, so many beautiful humans jumping on that I haven't connected with in a while. Oh, feeling all the love. And so after 3 days of 1 hour frequency treatment, this man was able to hold a coffee cup, and he had extensive scarring all over his hand, his arm and his chest. So that's the first example of frequencies that are specific. And here's the thing, what I learned as well is these frequencies are specific to the thing. So if you have a frequency that's designed for toxicity, it will only work on toxicity, not on pain. Then you deliver a frequency for inflammation, it will only work on inflammation, not toxicity, etc. So the frequency that they found is most effective for reducing scarring is 13 hertz. The frequency that they found is most effective for connective tissue is 77 hertz. And they tried using other frequencies for those issues, and they didn't work until they got to 13 hertz for the scarring and 77 for connective tissue. So that's how the Healy programs work. It's like if you're running one for pain, it's not going to be the same as joints and bones, etc. Or for sleep, or for whatever the thing is, or for like my acne or whatever. Oh, by the way, guys, my skin is like literally changing. I swear, like I haven't been wearing makeup the last few days, and it's changing, and I'm like, holy, I said to my mum this morning, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to take a before photo because my after photo is probably gonna be really soon, which is insane. Like I just am totally not expecting it to work or do anything. I don't have any expectations. I'm just running the skin and the acne and the scarring and the wounds programs every day, amongst other ones. So that was the first study. The second one that Dr. Carolyn McMacken did, as well as other scientists, was they and this is applicable to those with endometriosis. So it was on people with endometriosis adhesions. So it's like scars internally. And where the adhesions are, from my understanding of endometriosis, which is not extensive, where they're like occurring outside the womb, is it? Or outside the ovaries? I don't know the exact locations, but I think, yeah, they're supposed to be in, the scars are not supposed to be in there, but the tissue is supposed to be inside in the right place, and it creates adhesions on the outside and in places that it's not supposed to be, and it can create incredible pain. Oh, Danny, take a breath. I literally talk so fast when I talk about the Healy because I'm so excited about it, and I have to slow down. Lol. So they took these patients with endometriosis, but what they'd started with was rats. They created adhesions on rats. They anaesthetized the rats, you'd be happy to know. Then they opened them up, and they did a little procedure to basically make a scar inside them. And what happened when the scar was created was it created almost like a cartilage, like, you know, like a chicken or a steak gristle that's like white and dense and kind of firm, hard to the touch, or to the, you know, if you probe it, it's dense. So they created them inside the rats, and then they stitched them up. Then they put the frequency on the outside of the rats, and this is actually how they found the 13 hertz for reducing scarring and the 77 for connective tissue, is because they tried multiple frequencies. Like they had, I don't know, 10 or 7 of them or whatever, and it was like the 6th frequency, which was 13 hertz, that the adhesions that they'd created, get this is like mind-blowing shit. So this is where science meets spirituality with this device. People are like, oh, it's just woo-woo, it's just high vibes. I'm like, no, this is legit. The adhesions were white and they were dense, and in front of their eyes they started to turn clear and they dissolved into a liquid. So they literally found the frequency that would dissolve scar tissue. Isn't that insane? And then they replicated it, of course, because it might be a fluke. So they did it on lots of rats and it worked. And so then, of course, they applied it to humans that have endometriosis, and they found that their scars and their adhesions dissolved. Like, what the heck? And this is exciting for me. It's exciting for me in terms of my own body, but it's also exciting because I've got a lot of friends that suffer from endometriosis and a lot of friends that ask about the Healy for endometriosis, for example, amongst many other things. And I wouldn't have thought necessarily to recommend a scarring or a connective tissue program for endometriosis to help dissolve or support endometriosis. I would think of pain ones maybe, or I'd think of like the women's health frequencies. But now I know this from research and stuff, and I'm learning more and more about it. Like applying the scarring frequencies and applying the connective tissue ones may be just life-changing. So that's my story and my research and my vulnerable share and revealing myself to you in the world. And I've got many more when this comes from around my whys of this device. My ultimate why first and foremost is to make things easier for myself and my health. My second why is always my loved ones, and to make things easier for their health and their life. And then my third why is you guys. That's why I'm on here sharing, because so many of us live with these different things. And I was talking to someone today who was sharing to me about their challenge with their memory and their concentration and not remembering stuff, and the emotional repercussions of that was what really, really hit me. Oh, you're welcome, my love. Thanks, Leah. It was like his vulnerability and sharing how his memory and his concentration and his forgetfulness would then impact him emotionally and the people he's around. And I was like, holy shit, there's memory and there's learning and there's concentration programs that the Healy can run, and I'm like, that then affects your mental and emotional state, right? So there's so many applications that, of course, because of the mind-body connection, that are all interconnected. Hey, right? And you just don't think about when it comes to things. So indirectly, you're receiving these frequencies for this random challenge that you have, and then you're also healing or supporting, or Healy, supporting your body in other ways. And it's life-changing, and you just don't know what's going to show up. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. If you've got any questions, post them in the comments or feel free to DM me. And I will drop in very soon, I'm sure, with more stories as I'm going, and stories of the people that I'm scanning. I've already got a few more up my sleeve, but can't tell them all at once. And sending you all the juju vibes. So much love. Bye.